technology is part of the reason why society as it is having these sleep issues. But when I say technology, it's not one thing. It's everything that technology beholds, right? It's your Facebook, it's your smartphone, it's your TV, it's your laptop, it's your email that is destroying your sleep. So I think the nuance should be phrased. Technology might become the solution to help to sleep, but we should be very mindful about which technology we use in the bedroom and which we have to keep out. My name is Julian Jagtenberg. I am the founder and CEO of Somnox, a company that is here to help the world improve their sleep. We are on a mission to help 100 million people improve the quality of sleep by leveraging the power of their breath. And in this episode, we talked about the power of breathing, the autonomic nervous system, and what you can do to very easily use your breath to improve your sleep, your state of calm, and the quality of your health to move forward. So you don't want to miss out, and check out what we are sharing in the realm of science of sleep and mental health.
All right, we are here to dive into one of my favorite things to do in the world, one of my favorite concepts of wellness, performance, just something that the more and more I prioritize has cascaded into every aspect of my life. My personal life, my professional life, my relationships, all the above. And this is why I love what I do. And I'm so grateful to be here running this show and having incredible guests like yourself. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself and what are we here to talk about?
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Julian Jagtenberg. I am the founder and CEO of Somnox. I am an engineer and sleep expert when it comes to creating a company to help the world sleep better using the power of your breath. So I'm very excited to share the top tips in how to improve your sleep by simply adjusting the power of your breathing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I actually invented something that can help you with just that. So technology-driven wellness and health, a little bit shining a light on the future of sleep as well.
Well, before we get into the tech, and I'm very excited to go there because I received a device and I'm really excited to share with my audience my experience and my results. We'll get there. But you bring up two really important concepts, sleep and breath, sleep and breath. How are those two really working together or not? You know, how can we really look at breath to improve sleep and go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think sleep is such a vital thing. You've talked about it in other episodes as well, being one of the fundamental pillars of your health, physical and mentally. And what we found is that actually many of the people that suffer from sleep deprivation suffer due to hyperarousal, right? This is the overstimulated mind, being stressed, being anxious. And actually, if you look at the science behind it, your body consists of the autonomic nervous system. You've also coined that term before, which is the parasympathetic and sympathetic part. It's either rest and digest or fight or flight. It regulates your breathing, it regulates your heart rate, and it even regulates things like blood pressure and so forth. And the breath is like the remote controller for your autonomic nervous system, helping you to guide from a fight or flight mode into rest and digest, where you can bring people from a state of hyperarousal into relaxation, getting them to doze off much quicker. And I think that is such an interesting thing because you can go for weeks without food, days without water, but just a minute without breathing. Yet we never learned how to breathe properly. And it determines so much, even the physical appearance of your face. You can see if someone is breathing through their nose or mouth. It's crazy what breathing does to your physical and mental health. And I could talk hours about this, but this is the basic take on why this science in the relationship of breathing to sleep is so interesting. Also, if you look at apnea and snoring, which are the most huge sleep issues out there, they are related to breathing. Even your sleep stages determine your breathing pace. So there's a relationship between deep sleep, REM sleep, and the pace of breathing. So something's going on there. And I'm exploring and studying that part of sleep.
For the wide variety of us that are out there, that are listening, that are watching right now, we're all different people doing different things, and our lives, our jobs, our environments demand different things of us. Is there a particular person that you would want to speak to first when it comes to, hey, you probably have the most room for improvement in improved breathing for improved sleep? What type of person should really be tuning in right now the most?
So I think, everyone is breathing, right?
I hope so. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. And I think everyone can benefit from being more mindful about the way you breathe. The type of person that I would say is most likely to gain benefits from doing this is people that are maybe already trying meditation, but which is still hard, right? It is very hard to be silent for 20 minutes and observe your thoughts. And breath work and breathing can be the first step into getting a very tangible approach of checking in with your body, getting into the present moment, and checking in with the physical sensations that are going on, and therefore be a more energetic and better person. So, there's not a specific person I would reach out to that could benefit from it. I think if the world
everybody,
the world is a better place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So then, how do we take this concept of breath and apply it to sleep? Is it we need to get better at a particular type of breathing as we're trying to fall asleep, or is it by focusing on the quality of our breath, the repetitions, the intensity, breath work, dare I even say, and that just carries over to more beneficial, more restorative sleep?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, the breath is something we do during the day and during the night, and it's something which should be considered as a 24/7 approach, not just at night, not just during the day. There's this great quote which states that what happens during the day impacts the quality of sleep at night. So what I think is a very interesting thing is that everyone, when it comes to sleep, focuses on those 8 hours at night. But where you can have an actual impact of sleep is during the day, the hour before you go to sleep, the way you wake up, the ritual you have. And when it comes to breathing in particular, waking up with a meditation or a breathwork session may already kickstart your day, getting you into that fight or flight mode with a different type of breathing, versus getting your body and mind to signal by your breath it's time to fall asleep, rather than checking your inbox and notifications on your phone. And then what I just said, throughout the night, adjusting your breathing pace can be interested to improve your deep sleep as well. So it's on every moment of the day, whether you wake up, whether you are in your car, whether you are having a conversation, you might just check the person you're talking to and check how he or she is breathing. It will tell so much about his or her emotional state. It's really something to check into. So it's a holistic thing. And that's why I think it's so beautiful.
How can we do that? How, if we can, now that we have this level of awareness of in an interaction, to evaluate or even just to glance at, is it the posture? Is it intensity? How can we, and what does it do? How can we look at someone's breathing technique, breathing pattern, and what does it actually do to help us in the situation?
Yeah, so I think one of those things is breath awareness, right? This is step one. When you go into the realms of breath work, that's what they teach you. And breath awareness is, you could do this by yourself, but also, again, your partner. And many people have a very shallow breath. They have tensioned shoulders. They breathe
Hunched
up in
over,
their chest.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're breathing quite shallow and fast and rapid. And this results in also over breathing, which makes a lot of carbon dioxide leave the body, which ensures you get less oxygen into your blood and into your muscles and into your other organs, which is a bad thing. So if you see someone having this very shallow breathing, that means they're probably stressed, nervous, or maybe nearing a burnout, or angry or sad, whereas emotions as happiness and joy are related to breathing into the belly and slowly, right? So that is ways to look at one another and see, hey, in what emotional state is someone? And through that, guide them to more slow-paced breathing into the belly, inhaling through the nose, to get them into that rest and digest parasympathetic autonomic nervous system. But again, this really requires training, being aware, and know the fundamentals of good breathwork practice.
You mentioned earlier a key word that caught my attention, and a word that is a big part of my life, and that's ritual. I have a variety of rituals when it comes to the certain task before me or just the time of day, particularly morning rituals and evening rituals. I'm curious, what are yours? Here's someone that has made his life's purpose about breathing and sleep and the technology behind it. But what are your rituals?
There's many, right? But I'll keep it to the topic we're talking to. So one of my core rituals is, first of all, waking up. I try to avoid caffeine and coffee altogether because I don't really like the rush it gives into my body. So I use a certain breathwork practice, which is called Bastrika, where you put your hands next to your shoulders and it's like very rapid, like.
I feel like I'm like 80s aerobics right here. That's pretty interesting. Right?
Yeah, play a nice tune on the background. There you go. But what this does, it looks ridiculous, right? But what this does, very rapidly, you increase the oxygen intake. You will start to feel tingling in your fingers because the oxygen literally is increasing. So that's one of the things I do in the morning to wake up and avoid getting coffee and then do this breath work instead. It's also what, again, Wim Hof, the Iceman, does when he goes walk the Mount Everest or goes into his ice bath, because you can hijack your body to get ready and switch your state of mind. Another ritual I would have is also doing a mind dump. So everything that's going on in my mind as an entrepreneur, as an engineer, write it down into a book or whatever and revisit it, but making sure that you empty your mind before going into a conversation like this or going to bed. And then obviously when going to bed, I have breath work that helps for that, which is the 4-7-8 method. 4 seconds in through the nose, 7 seconds of holding the breath, and a prolongation of exhalation, which is 8 seconds breathing out through the mouth. And by prolonging the exhalation, that's when you stimulate the vagus nerve and telling it it's okay, it's safe, it's time to fall asleep. And I almost made it into this ritual, like brushing my teeth, doing these breathing practices. And now I just arrived 2 days ago from the Netherlands here in Silicon Valley. I can avoid my jet lag from happening. I'm more in my energy, right, which is so important doing what I do. And I tend to be less emotionally attached to the external events that happen to me, because I always check in with my breath and then see, hey, what's going on? And then act upon it rather than immediately respond, which, right, also the Stoics has taught us.
Yeah, absolutely. Respond, overreact all the time.
You suffer in your thoughts. So
very true. You bring up another key word, emotion, emotional. Emotions, I don't know about you, have surprised me when and how they show up when I'm focusing more on my breath, more so in a specific breath work practice, instead of just trying to take a few deep breaths to transition into whatever, but actually doing breath work 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever, has triggered some pretty wild emotional states for me. I'm curious, have you had any experiences like that? And can you shine a light on just another unique aspect of the breath that unlocks something physiologically and emotionally for us?
No, absolutely. There are so many beautiful stories to share there. I think one very iconic one is we had a police officer who experienced a traffic accident, and which was horrible. It was a fatal accident, and he was traumatized, experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, and he couldn't sleep. Right? Because he was experiencing the nightmare every single night, waking up in night sweats, being anxious, re-experiencing that awful event. And then through breathing, what happened was he could basically face that event, but instead of being high up in the chest, breathing, tense shoulders, high heart rate, open pupils, use the breath as the remote control to say, it's safe. This is my mind, this is an event, and basically regulate himself from being in panic into peace and calm. And I think, I mean, the mind is such a complex thing. No one
To say the
truly
least,
understands what's
yeah.
going on. But it's crazy that through something as breathing, you can influence your heart rate, you can influence your state, and I think those type of stories really touch me. I can share so much more, but I think this one was a very iconic one, which really touched me. That it can potentially save lives. Yeah, by avoiding people getting into a depression and that sort of stuff.
It's powerful. It's powerful. I've shared on the show before how in my very first breathwork class, I actually had a out of body experience where I was transported back in time and transported bodies out of my body and into my father. Quite literally, his last moments, he was alive. He passed away from a terminal illness years ago. And just, it's weird. You have this instructor, you have a breathwork person kind of tell you what you're probably going to experience physiologically, what's going on with your blood chemistry, what's going on with your oxygenation. You know, you might get the lobster claws, all these unique things that might happen when we focus on specific breath patterns. But the emotional stuff really kind of caught me off guard. Well, she prefaced it. She's like, be prepared. You know, something might come up. You might feel like you need to cry. You might be crying uncontrollably. You might be feeling these things and you don't really know where or why. But it's because of what it's doing physiologically and the power of breath, what it has to do to unlock so many things consciously and subconsciously. And so that was my experience. So it's great. It's wild. I can apply breath work to calm my state, to focus on sleep, to get more productive, to be more prepared to go into the ice bucket. And then if I want to tap into it for more of an emotional state, my emotional wellness, it's all there. It's incredible.
It is. And I mean, for some people, when they listen to these type of stories, it's like, oh, is this sort of some spiritual woohoo type of thing? It isn't, right?
It's science.
It is a physiological process driven by carbon dioxide and oxygen levels in your body going inside. And it is actual science at work. So that's what I think is the beauty of breath work. It's so accessible. It's so much more evidence-based compared to maybe other alternatives which might work and are maybe placebo. But the breath is undeniably something that keeps us healthy, not just physically, mentally as well. So yeah, it's worthwhile to study the breath,
to say the least. And you know, science at work is, I know, a big part of what you do, and you've now taken this science and applied it in a very interesting way. So I would love to learn more about this concept behind Somnox and what it is and what is the tech and what is the unique specific application.
Yeah, that's a big question, but I'll try to compress it into one. So my story started when I was a robotics engineer in the University of Technology in Delft, which is like the MIT of the Netherlands, right? As a boy, I always wanted to be an inventor, and robotics were my obsession, like Star Wars, C-3PO, you name it. So I'm a nerd by heart, and during that time, creating robotics in university, I found my mom suffering from the effects of sleep deprivation, and it was just frustrating to see something like that.
What did that look like? If you can kind of paint a picture for somebody who might also be going through sleep deprivation or a loved one.
I mean, it's terrible, right? Because if you chronically sleep less, it will impact your health, like pretty much everything, physically and mentally. Your energy levels are just so low, which results in the quality of your relationships, the quality of your work. It impacts everything, and it's worse. I tell you that. And what now happens, you know, at the counter, you can get like sleeping pills or therapy, or you can track your sleep with Aura Ring. But those things are not a long-term solution, so to say. They can help, but it's very personal. So I was looking into, okay, how could I help her, a close family member, who is suffering in a more natural way? And well, surprise, surprise, that's the first moment I found that breathing was able to help her deal with the anxiety she experienced at night. And then I read this scientific paper which suggested if people hold on to a baby, hold it to their chest and they feel the physical sensation of breathing, it will subconsciously adjust their own breathing pace.
Wow.
Meaning that they synchronize in the same rhythm, meaning also impacting the heart rate, right, which we just talked about. So there is a way to control the autonomic nervous system subconsciously.
Wow.
By feeling a physical sensation of breathing. And I was like, if I can make something for my mom that can regulate that at night, the moment when you most of the time feel most lonely, that would be amazing. So we created a lot of prototypes with the takeaway of having something that would breathe physically, have sensors to detect the respiration rate at the same time, and then bringing something to calm you down, getting you to sleep and shift into the parasympathetic nervous system.
And so what does this experience look like for the person who has not yet experienced Somnox? What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, so it is a new invention. There's nothing like this, and I mean, given that most people only have audio only, it's like this device you hold on to at night. It's soft. It's like cuddly, and you will feel the physical motion of the falling and rising of the breath. And by feeling that physical sensation, based upon the paper that I just described, you will subconsciously adjust your own breathing pace and slow down the breath to around 5 to 6 breaths per minute. And there is sensors in there as well that detect the respiration rate. So it will be synchronizing in real time. If you are breathing shallow, it will detect it and then bring it down accordingly, while you can listen to a meditation, because there's a speaker inside as well. So you can connect Calm or Headspace. And then within the app that comes with it, you can actually also connect and see the data, like your heart rate variability, your resting heart rate, decline over time. So it's partly hardware guiding the breath, and it's software guiding you to optimize to the right lifestyle optimization. And that is what we call the Somnox Sleep Companion. That is the tech that we made, and currently what we run scientific studies on to show how this could be a potential alternative to all the other solutions that are out there to help you sleep better.
What are you experiencing, or rather what are your users experiencing? What is kind of some of this feedback that you are getting? I'm sure some people are finally able to separate the day and to get into sleep in a level of sleep they probably haven't had in a long time. And what is this feedback you're getting? And ultimately, what is that ripple effect that people are getting from just a good night's sleep?
So, I mean, this question is probably the sole reason why I do what I do. We get so many stories sent to our office, like even written postcards of customers that finally sleep again, right? They are finally able to play with their kids or have a job. The rippling effect of good sleep is, as I said before, it goes a long way in your relationship, in your health, in your energy. So we had stories from this police officer that I just shared, from children that couldn't sleep and were having nightmares at night, which were now able to calm themselves down, up to even athletes that would be anxious for the game they would play because they've been training a year for it, and now using our device to calm themselves down and actually have more energy to win the game. So there's a broad spectrum of use cases where people use it to calm and to sleep better. And the rippling effect it has is just, sometimes I really get goosebumps of the stories we get. People that are maybe do not take the sleeping pill they used to, therefore not experience the side effects they had, and on and on and on. And that's just so fulfilling to know that you can have an impact in that regard, using technology rather than using chemicals. And I hope to do that at scale.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Do you ever worry about, I think with any tool that we might introduce to our life, especially when it comes to improving an area of our wellness, that we might become dependent on it, that we rely more on the thing instead of using the thing to get us back on track or to kind of, take back control of our lives a little bit more.
Absolutely, right? So I think it's vital. Currently, people are dependent on sleeping pills, which are chemicals. I mean, I'd rather have them addicted to breathing if I compare it
True.
to the alternative. So I guess, which addiction is worse. But we designed the product in such a way that it basically trains you in a certain time frame to also be able to do it yourselves. So the device is there as a guide to get you to a point where you sleep better and you use it the moments you are maybe stressed, because life isn't a constant state. So there might be moments when you need it, and there might be moments you don't need it, depending on the stressors, the anxiety levels you experience. So we designed it in such a way that it can be there when you need it, but not being a dependent device all over. Yeah.
What about all the other technology that's in our life that could be sources or the main source of our inability to finally take a deep breath, to slip into sleep? We live in an age where in our bedrooms or just in our lives, the moments, the hours leading up to sleep, we're tethered, we're attached to technology way more than we used to. It was just 5 years ago. Is another piece of technology in that time span, in that space, the best solution?
That's a great question. So I think technology is part of the reason why society as it is having these sleep issues. But when I say technology, it's not one thing. It's everything that technology beholds, right? It's your Facebook, it's your smartphone, it's your TV, it's your laptop, it's your email that is destroying your sleep. So I think the nuance should be phrased. Technology might become the solution to help you to sleep, but we should be very mindful about which technology we use in the bedroom and which we have to keep out. I believe, and I mean, science has proven this, your smartphone, keep it out of your bedroom, right? That's full of stressful notifications. It's blue light. It's everything you do not want to have to improve the quality of your sleep. But things like Oura Ring, which is tracking your sleep, is a great way to monitor and become more aware of the quality of sleep you have and make adjustments accordingly. Our product doesn't have blue lights and stressful notifications. It helps you improve your sleep score that you track with your Oura Ring. So we should make a division between harmful technology and sleep improvement technology. And then having that opportunity there to understand what works for me.
When I've decided sometimes to try something new in my life, and especially to try something in my health, fitness, wellness, it not always is received the same way by those around me. Like, it might be important to me, it might be a new thing that I want to try and do because of my personal goals, but not something that a friend, a colleague, a partner also wants to try. What advice would you give to the person who is wanting to finally take back their sleep, take back their life, really, that might not be met with the same level of commitment as the person around them, their partner? How can we navigate this? Because we're using a pretty good sized piece of technology here that, might be introducing a third wheel to the relationship, so to speak.
No, absolutely, right. So I think that for a big part, it's about what is the need for sleep for the individual using what we made. If the need is big enough, right, improving your sleep, and it's not a vitamin pill, but a painkiller, I think there's not many arguments needed to have someone use it and improve the quality of their sleep, because the alternatives are not as pretty as a tool that helps you breathe. Let me put it like that. And what we found, especially when it comes to two people that sleep together, I mean, our device is indeed something you hold on to. So many times we have customers buying it for their partner because they see them suffer. They see them experience the sleeplessness at night. And if you compare those two, you rather have your partner being awake at night or having something that's natural to get you to sleep and experience more energy. Whereas you can be a better partner the other day, better version of yourselves. That's what I would take any time of the day. But of course, there's personal preferences for everything, right? People like to track their sleep with a ring, others with a wristband, others with a mattress cover.
Yeah, I'm a team Whoop over here. Yeah.
Whoop, right
Yeah.
there. See, so there's even in the realm of improving sleep and just tracking, there's personal preferences, lifestyle preferences, and I think the same goes for us. And I'm very interested to learn which communities will be drawn in the US for what we have made.
I'm curious, in your research, have you all found just in general sleep health? Do people that sleep alone or people that sleep with a partner, is there one that we're seeing has better sleep, more deep sleep, more restorative sleep?
Yeah, that is a great question. So there was recently a study that actually showed that cuddling is proven to help you fall asleep faster.
That's what I was thinking. That was the inspiration behind that question there. I didn't want to say cuddling first.
Cuddling is the word, spooning or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a native speaker, so I hope I use the right
You did.
grammar there. But it showed that if you hold on to something, doesn't even necessarily have to be a significant other, but it produces oxytocin, which is like the love hormone.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also, I mean, signaling to your brain and body, it's safe, it's time to fall asleep. And this goes back to when we were sleeping in caves, right? Where tigers would be around, you need to be careful, and you would be more safe being with someone keeping watch than being alone. So this is still in our instinct, right? The companionship, the presence of something that is protecting you is helping you improve the quality of sleep. So it's also that you see a lot of people have a cat or a dog that is sitting on the bed for that particular reason. So yeah, the science is showing some initial results there.
And you bring up another interesting point. I wonder what it could be doing psychologically and physiologically. Someone maybe who has lost a partner, maybe they're newly single, or unfortunately a loved one passed away, their partner's gone. I know I've been married now for pushing 6 years. And when I travel, due to a lot of other circumstances, time zones, caffeine, whatever, I might not get the best sleep, but I do know for sure that it's a big contributing factor is that I'm not next to my wife. I'm not next to my partner. Her and I both share that, when I'm away or she's away, we get less sleep, less quality sleep. It takes us longer to fall asleep. And we're just, even though we're maybe not always cuddling or even physically touching, we're very close, and we just know that person's there. It provides a lot of safety, security, and oxytocin. So that just kind of brings to light another unique application that someone might take away from something like this, is kind of just bringing that physical touch back, that sensation of not having a partner anymore.
Right. Yeah. And that could be one use case, so to speak. But again, we also see people that are sleeping together still having the need for it, because at night one person might be sleeping, but if you are awake, that is it's still tricky. So there's definitely something there. But we have indeed stories of people using it where their partner passed away. And those are actually the ones that give me goosebumps. We had this woman who shared a story with us. Her partner passed away, and she was using our device to have something that was breathing next to her, feeling warm, the sounds of hearing a heartbeat. And it was finally helping her to fall asleep again, almost as if her partner was there again. And this is almost a little bit Black Mirror-esque, right? Like dystopian, like, is this a reincarnation? Is that what we want? But obviously, this is an outlier of the people that we help, but it does show the emotional level of what our product does compared to Whoop, which is a great product, which is very data-driven, but the emotional part of sleep is so vital. And those stories really give me goosebumps, man, every single time.
What I love about that story and what I love about the core of that concept is it's a reminder of two things we've been talking about a lot thus far, and that's breathing and touch. Human beings, when we have our breath dialed in and we are breathing properly and optimally, there's a time and a place for mouth and nasal breathing. I'd probably argue there's more time for nasal breathing than mouth breathing, but also, companionship. We're designed for touch. I mean, look at all of the unfortunate elevated levels and rise of depression and anxiety and poor mental health and even suicide over the last couple of years when we were forced to be apart physically so long. I mean, we are energetic beings. We are created, we're designed, we're whatever, to interact and to be around people and to have this energy exchange, both to hype us up, but also in the evening, in the wind down, to calm down and to sync up. Connection and breath are two fundamentals of existence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's so easy to oversee because it sounds so abundant and
trivial,
so
even.
simple, right? We tend to look for solutions in AI and all sorts of things, but actually sometimes the solution is right under our nose, right? Breathing and companionship. I think that is so true. And if we can only add to a percentage of people to help them do that, that's I think that is amazing. Then the world is a better place, you know. If we would all be sleeping better, that's woo, things would be like health would be improved, less traffic accidents, better economy. Woo.
That's a world I'm after, and hopefully that's the ripple effect we're going to have here from this conversation. Julian, kind of getting towards the end here. I just want to again thank you for your time and the work that you're doing. And I do have one question before we get to the final question, and that's someone who is quite literally living, eating, breathing, sleeping this approach to wellness, and you've taken it a step further and created an item and a business and a movement out of it, which I'm also very grateful for. You didn't just keep this to yourself. What's on the horizon? What are you super excited for? Someone who is in the tech side of things, what are you most excited for in this technology frontier for our wellness?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my mission is to help 100 million people sleep by 2030. So I will only rest once I have achieved that. And currently we have one device that we made that is contributing to that mission. But in order to get there, it's not just this device, right? Because this is serving a particular audience, and to get to a broader group of people that can leverage the power of breathing, I want to create the tools to make sure you can use the breath in improving your mental health, improving your sleep. This could be things you take with you, maybe into app formats, but also looking at all the data that is out there within the breath. I mean, as I just said, by looking at breath respiration data, you can actually extract emotional state. You can correlate it with heart rate variability, resting heart rate. So there's a lot of data that we can use to have this personalized experience in tailoring your lifestyle. So we're creating hardware on one hand for multiple audiences to leverage their breathing, and software to have data used to have personalized advice in improving your sleep. And that is what I am very excited about, that through technology, through science, I am convinced we can get to that number. And even if it's not a product that people buy after hearing this story, I would love for people to try breathwork. It's free. The breath is free. You can experience it, read about it, check videos about it, and it might just happening to change your life. So it's also educating society about the importance of sleep, educating society about the importance of breathing, and in that way, reaching 100 million people one day.
That's a hell of a goal, man. That's a beautiful one. And hopefully we're supporting here in this conversation, this podcast. This form of awareness in breath, in connection, and in sleep has been incredible. So again, thank you for that. But I want to bring it all home. This is the part where I get to be selfish and kind of make it all about me. It's to help us move forward in life. This unique aspect, these aspects you've just shared, to help propel us forward in life, to live a life ever forward. When you hear those two words, Julian, what does that mean to you? How do you live a life ever forward?
For me, I think it's all about learning. We make a lot of mistakes in life, which result maybe in a decline in your health or your career. But the ability to learn, being open-minded, seeing the challenges in life as a teacher, to make a better version of yourselves, and having a community around you that can help you just that. And I think that is what you are doing with this podcast, creating a movement of people that are optimistic and using their health for a bigger cause. That is what moving forward is about to me. Fail, learn, step up again, and be the best version of yourselves each and every day. And I hope this 1 hour might add just 1% of that. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your interpretation. We're going to have all of your information in Somnox down in the show notes and the video for everybody to check out. And by the time this is shared and out live, I'm going to have my full report and experience using it myself. And I'm really excited to share the personal data, the personal experience, as well as, what the data has to say, the quantitative and the qualitative as well.
Yeah, you should definitely not just look at sleep, but the Whoop shows you a great trending of your HRV and trend line on your resting heart rate. And those two, you should be seeing the resting heart rate in a decline and your HRV in an increase.
Beautiful.
Over a period of at least 2 weeks. So that might be great to include as well, apart from the sleep stages or your recovery score that comes out.
I share it all. My audience, especially following me on Instagram, I'm sharing this stuff all the time. So this will be a great new tool in my toolbox. Yeah.
Amazing.